to argue which one was the countryest. You see, she's from Sevierville and I'm from McMinnville now. There's not a lot of difference. Not very many miles, you know.
Have you ever wondered about the sudden and tragic demise of country music legend Dottie West? You probably don't know the whole story behind her mysterious passing or the hardships she endured long before fame found her. What happened to her, and why did her end come so soon? Join us as we dive into the Dottie West mystery. This might be more shocking than you imagined. Who was Dottie West? American country singer and songwriter Dorothy Marie Marsh, popularly known as Dottie West, was born on October 11, 1932, in Frog Pond, Tennessee. The star grew up in a community 64 miles northeast of Nashville in Macon County. Her father, William Hollis Marsh, was a musician who played the guitar and fiddle. At the same time, her mother, Paulina Artha, was a homemaker who also worked various odd jobs to support the family. Dorothy was the first child of her parents, and she had 9 other siblings. Unfortunately, Dorothy's father had alcoholism, and this led to him becoming abusive as he was unable to hold a job. Imagine how difficult living would have been for them, especially considering the large size of her family. Since her father was jobless most of the time, her family lived a reportedly impoverished life because they often ran out of food and other resources. Then her father was drafted into the army during World War II. After 3 months, he was discharged. However, her family was lucky to have received military allotment checks, which provided enough financial stability to build their own home. Her mother, Paulina Marsh, was also not sitting idle. To provide for her children, she had to take on a job at a tree nursery. As the oldest child, Dorothy cared for her younger siblings while her mother worked. She and her mother both worked in the fields of their neighbor's farm, picking fruits and vegetables. Dorothy attended Central High School in McMinnville, Tennessee. While she was a teenager, her father was still addicted to alcohol, and soon after, he started to abuse his children physically. According to her, her father would hold both her mother and her siblings at gunpoint. He not only abused Dorothy physically, but also repeatedly molested her sexually around age 11. Because she was afraid to report it, the abuse continued for several years. At age 15, she had a miscarriage for her father. Her abusive father later got a job at the Ford Motor Company in Detroit, Michigan, when she was 17. As if he hadn't abused her enough, he still threatened to take her out of school so she could move to Detroit with him. She was too young to have faced what she faced, and so, as expected, she became depressed even at school. When she couldn't stomach it anymore, Dorothy later confessed the molestation to her high school teachers, and her father, Hollis Marsh, was arrested on rape and incest charges. After his arrest, Dorothy lived with the county sheriff for several weeks while her mother and siblings moved into a McMinnville apartment. Dorothy then testified in court against her father, and he was found guilty of all charges. Hollis Marsh was sentenced to 40 years at Tennessee State Prison, where he died eventually in 1967. After the arrest and trial, Dorothy moved back into her mother's McMinnville apartment and worked with her mother as a waitress at a local restaurant. Her mother moved the family into a house and opened her restaurant in McMinnville. It was during this time that Dorothy began going by the name Dottie. Given the chaos, depression, and sadness of her childhood, one would be particularly curious about how Dorothy became famous. Well, let's dive into that next. The road to fame, popularly known as the Country Sunshine Girl, after writing and recording a song of that title for a Coca-Cola commercial, Dorothy started her career at the age of 12 when she raised money through a school fundraiser to buy her first guitar. Slowly picking up interest in music, she also began singing and playing her guitar in a high school band called the Coonskins. The band played at high school events, square dances, picnics, and other local events. After Dottie West graduated from high school, a McMinnville businessman got Dorothy a music scholarship to attend Tennessee Polytechnic Institute, where she sang in a band. Little did she know she would meet a lover who later became her first husband at the institute. During her first day, Dorothy met fellow student and steel guitar player Bill West, who was studying engineering. Soon after, the two freshmen fell in love and later got married. It was after her marriage to Bill West that Dorothy took on the name Dottie West. Dottie West soon got pregnant and gave birth to 2 children. After graduation, she and her husband, along with their children, moved to Cleveland, Ohio, where Dottie began appearing on the television program Landmark Jamboree as one half of a country pop vocal duo called the K-Dots. She appeared alongside partner Kathy D. While doing that, Dottie West also made numerous trips to Nashville, hoping to land a recording deal. Then in 1959, Dottie and Bill auditioned for Starday's Dawn Pierce and were immediately offered a contract. Although the resulting singles she recorded for the label proved unsuccessful, she moved to Nashville in 1961. When she got to Nashville, she and her husband fell in with a group of aspiring songwriters like Willie Nelson, Roger Miller, Hank Cochran, and Harlan Howard. The couple also became close friends with Patsy Cline and her husband Charlie Dick. Everything was beginning to look rosy for the upcoming superstar. Dottie West continued to write songs, and Jim Reeves had a hit with her composition Is This Me in 1963. It was Jim Reeves who brought her to the attention of RCA's Chet Atkins, who then signed her and produced her self-written Here Comes My Baby, a top 10 country hit that earned West a Grand Ole Opry membership and a Grammy Award, the first ever Grammy won by a female country artist. Dottie West also scored additional top 10 singles with Would You Hold It Against Me in 1966 and Paper Mansions in 1967, as well as hit duets with Reeves' Love Is No Excuse, 1964, and Don Gibson, Rings of Gold, 1969. Dottie West also had a mentor, Patsy Cline, and she befriended other performers and writers, boosting the careers of Larry Gatlin, Jeannie Seely, and Steve Wariner. Dottie West composed 12 Coca-Cola jingles, including the Clio Award-winning Country Sunshine, which became a top 10 hit in 1963. In 1979, Dottie West moved to United Artists Records and later scored a pair of #1 country hits with A Lesson in Leavin' and Are You Happy Baby in 1980. A string of hit duets with Kenny Rogers included Every Time Two Fools Collide, 1978, and What Are We Doing in Love, 1981, also a top 20 pop recording. Dottie West scored a #1 hit in her own right with A Lesson in Leavin' in 1980. This was her most successful period, and her daughter, Shelley West, became a central country act, solo and in a duet partnership with David Frizzell. Dottie West also made the tabloids' front pages and the center spreads in revealing poses. Aside from writing and singing, Dottie West was also indirectly living the life of a model. The red-haired beauty, who had helped launch the careers of Larry Gatlin and Steve Wariner, was famously known as a country sex queen in her late 40s with full-color center spreads in several of the leading American magazines. Soon enough, Dottie West became one of the most successful and controversial performers to rise to popularity during the Nashville Sound era. Just like her friend and mentor Patsy Cline, Dottie West's battles for identity and respect within the male-dominated country music hierarchy were instrumental in enabling other female artists to gain control over the direction of their careers. Let's dive into Dottie West's personal and almost chaotic life. Personal life. Dottie West was married and divorced 3 times. As earlier revealed, her first marriage was to Bill West in 1953, whom she met on her first day of classes at Tennessee Tech. The couple married during her sophomore year and were pictured together in their 1953 college yearbook. Bill West was a steel guitarist who joined his wife's touring band and co-wrote many of her early songs. In their first years living in Nashville, the couple rented a pink cottage on the city's west side. In 1969, a home they bought in Nashville caught fire, leading to the family purchasing a home in the Green Hills neighborhood of Nashville. In 1972, Dottie West and Bill West got divorced. According to Dottie West, she caught Bill cheating on her, and that was something she couldn't stomach, so she had to call it quits. We don't know what happened to Bill West after they divorced, but all we know is that he died in 2013. As of 1958, Dottie West was a mother of 3, Morris, Carrie, and Shelley West. Their 4th child, Dale, was born in 1962. Like their parents, the couple's children also became involved with the music business. Morris West was a songwriter and guitarist, notably for the American rock band Thunder, which was briefly signed to Atlantic Records. Carrie West served as his mother's tour manager and sound engineer for several years from 1993. He was employed as an audio engineer for country music entertainer Ronnie Millsap. Over the years, Carrie has engineered concert performances for many touring artists. As a studio engineer in Nashville, Carrie West has also had the opportunity to work with some of country music's finest. He has also engineered sessions for television, including music for the History Channel, NASCAR, and ESPN. He designs audio systems for churches and theaters nationwide, including the Ronnie Millsap Theater in Myrtle Beach, SC, and conducts audio seminars across the region. In 1999, Carrie West opened his studio, West House Recording, where he and his wife, Kenna Turner West produce artists' projects, custom projects, and song demos. Shelley West was a recording artist during the 1980s, topping the U.S. country charts as a duet team with David Frizzell and as a solo artist. Shelley West's career coincided with her mother Dottie's reinvention of herself as a country pop star. Shelley West is best known for her hit duets with David Frizzell, especially their #1 hit, You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma. She was also a successful solo artist, having her #1 hit, Jose Cuervo, in 1983. Shelley West married Gary Hood that same year, but they divorced in 2000. The couple had twin boys together. In 1990, Shelley West toured with her mother, and they were popular on the road. In June 2005, CMT honored Shelley and her duet partner, David Frizzell, when they were voted #6 on its 100 Greatest Duets special. Although they did not perform any songs, Shelley West and David Frizzell appeared on the special, for which West was interviewed. West appeared on numerous episodes of Country Family Reunion on RFD TV. Shelley West has returned to performing occasionally since 2012. On October 13, 2012, Shelley West reunited with David Frizzell for 2 shows at the God and Country Theater in Branson, Missouri. They both played another show on November 2, 2013 at the Americana Theater in Branson. After Bill and Dottie West divorced, Dottie West wasn't done with her love life yet. In 1972, Dottie West married her band's drummer, Byron Metcalf. The shocking thing about this new marriage was that her new lover was 12 years younger. During their wedding ceremony, Dottie West changed the phrase "Until Death Do Us Part" to "As Long as Love Shall Last." When commenting on her new marriage, Dottie West said, "I'm attracted to younger men, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I don't mind saying it. I have nothing to hide." Surprisingly, she never dropped the name West. In 1980, Dottie West filed for divorce from Metcalf as a result of his drinking and infidelity. In 1981, their divorce was already finalized. From the divorce, it was agreed that Dottie West would give Metcalf $55,000, along with $10,000 provided to Metcalf's lawyer. "I work. He doesn't," she told the press. 2 years after her divorce in 1983, Dottie West was still unsatisfied with her love life. She married sound engineer Al Winters. Different from her second marriage, this time around there was a 23-year age difference between them. Then in 1988, Dottie West filed for divorce yet again, citing irreconcilable differences and cruel and inhuman treatment. Their divorce was finalized in January 1990. Another thing peculiar about her personal life was her fashion sense. For a country singer, Dottie West had quite a strange dressing style. Although she was a country sunshine, her style became pure Hollywood. Album covers and publicity photos from those years show a fresh-faced young woman in demure poses with bouffant red hair, sometimes sporting a long, curled ponytail. Usually attired in calico or gingham dresses, Dottie West's clothes had plenty of ruffles and lace. Her more elegant dresses incorporated silk and satin, sometimes with full skirts over stiff crinoline. On her 1965 Country and West album cover, her hair was darkened to strawberry blonde and cut into a conservative puff that made her almost unrecognizable. She's wearing a drab green business suit with a paisley neck scarf, looking earnestly at the camera with eyes made wider by false lashes. 2 years later, on the With All My Heart and Soul album cover, she poses before a schoolroom blackboard dressed like a typical teacher in a teal suit, subdued makeup, and a dark red flip hairdo. As the 60s transcended into the 70s, Dottie West's look reflected all the fashion trends: maxi dresses, knee boots, velvet suits, bleached blonde hair, patchwork, and denim. A 1973 Dottie West paper doll book provides Western-inspired pant ensembles, flowing calico frocks with matching large-brimmed hats and vibrant colored, ruffled evening gowns, perfect for dressing the award-winning singer and songwriter whose current hit, County Sunshine, topped pop and country charts and hawking Coca-Cola. Even at age 50, she still served the fashion industry with looks and elegance. She was made the subject of a 12-page pictorial and interview in We, a popular men's magazine. "They didn't ask me to appear nude, but they asked me to reveal more than I wanted to," she told reporter Jean Triplett in a 1982 interview about the magazine's release. In one shot, she channels a Wild West, 2 synthetic snowflakes. Aside from her struggles growing up, Dottie West faced a few controversies that threatened her career. Next, we dive into her fall from grace. Her tragic fall from grace. Aside from her escapades with men, Dottie West was known for her spending habits. It was so wild that, even at some instances, stores would remain open through midnight so she could shop alone. "I can spend money real quick. I'm good at that. And there have been times when I spent it in a way that I shouldn't, but I've always enjoyed it," she later commented. By the 1980s, Dottie West was bringing in between $1 and $2 million yearly. During this period, Dottie West purchased a colonial mansion in Williamson County, Tennessee. The home had a bowling alley, closets organized with designer clothes, and a nursery for her 2 grandchildren. Dottie West also had a mirror built on the ceiling above her master bed. Then, in August 1990, everything crashed when Dottie West filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, owing the U.S. Internal Revenue Service $1 million. She later switched to Chapter 7, which allowed her to liquidate her assets. Her management company claimed West breached her contract and sued her for $130,000. Her former manager, Michael Brokaw, claimed he was due 15% of her earnings and had yet to be paid. He sued her for $110,295. In September 1990, the First American National Bank seized her colonial mansion after previously buying it for $800,000. Her Chevrolet Corvette was also seized, leading to Kenny Rogers lending her a car instead. Dottie West then had to move into Nashville's Wessex Towers condominiums. As if that wasn't enough, several months later, an unknown caller informed bankruptcy trustee John McLemore that Dottie West was secretly hiding personal possessions in storage to avoid being seized by the IRS. Then, in April 1991, several porcelain objects and a guitar were found in a storage facility that allegedly belonged to her. Also, in June 1991, the IRS held a public auction where people bought West's possessions. Some devoted fans purchased some items and returned them to Dottie West. The items sold at the auction included Dottie West's baby grand piano and her 1976 Cadillac Fleetwood. Despite the proceeds from the auction, Dottie West was still left with a massive debt. Despite her financial situation, Dottie West's net worth was estimated at $5 million until she died in 1991. Speaking of her death, we dive next into the mystery surrounding her death. The mystery behind her death. Nobody expected the sudden and mysterious death of Dottie West. In January 1991, in a television interview conducted at her Nashville apartment, Dottie West was dressed in a demure outfit with a foxtail scarf, envisioning herself as her future self. "When I'm 87, I'll still be walking on the Grand Ole Opry stage and singing, 'Here Comes More Tears to Cry,'" she told her interviewer, assuring her fans that at 58, she had no intention of retiring. So, what exactly happened to the country star legend, and what were the circumstances that surrounded her tragic death? Let's keep going. On August 30, 1991, Dottie West was supposed to perform at the Grand Ole Opry. Suddenly, her car, which Kenny Rogers had given her, stopped working on the road. Then, her neighbor, George Thaxton, saw her and offered to drive her to the Opry. Dottie West, worried about being late, urged him to drive fast. Unfortunately, Thaxton lost control of his car on the highway exit ramp. The vehicle went off the road and hit the middle barrier. At that time, Dottie West did not think she was severely hurt and told the police to help her neighbor first. However, little did she know that she had suffered severe internal injuries. She had a ruptured spleen and a torn liver. Her spleen was removed, and she had to undergo 2 more surgeries to stop her liver from bleeding, but these efforts did not work. Doctors said Dottie West knew how badly she was hurt. She even visited with Kenny Rogers before her last operation. On September 4, 1991, Dottie West died during her 3rd operation at the age of 58 after receiving 30 units of blood in an attempt to save her life. When you bleed a lot and you have a 60-year-old heart, your heart does not tolerate that blood loss, Dr. John A. Morris said of Dottie West's death. After the death of Dottie West, 81-year-old George W. Thaxton pleaded no contest to a reckless endangerment charge stemming from a car crash that led to the death of Dottie West. George W. Thaxton was also placed on probation Thursday for 11 months and 29 days by probate judge Jim Everett. George Thaxton was then ordered to complete an alcohol treatment program. Before Dottie West's sudden and tragic death, she was known as a people person. She loved getting to know all about a person. In hindsight, she might have tried to get to know a few of the lots better. A writer wrote in sadness and anger, "The last 3 years of Dottie's life were far from pleasant, the result of bad investments, bad decisions, bad marriages, alcohol, and drugs. She was drawn into a quagmire she couldn't recover from, most of it her own making. Many friends disappeared. I recall a major country star saying, 'If I'd only known, I would have helped.' Oh, her circumstances weren't Music City's best-kept secret, so why didn't you?" Dottie wasn't ready to fold the cards. She was trying hard to find redemption. God bless the fans. They were her tonic. Tour buses would pass her home. Drivers often slowed so she could hear exclamations of support. On several rare occasions, Dottie West went to the door and waved. On a couple of even rarer occasions, to brighten her spirits, she got all dolled up, went out, and up to the fence. Flashbulbs popped, fans ran up for autographs and photos. She hadn't been forgotten, the writer wrote further. After her death, Dottie West's funeral was held at Christ Church. About 600 friends and family attended, including Emmylou Harris and Johnny Cash. At the funeral, her friend Steve Werner sang "Amazing Grace." A few weeks later, President George H.W. Bush, who was also a fan, sent his condolences at the CMA Awards. What made Dottie West unique is that when she sang about pain, she felt pain, Rogers said from Los Angeles. When she sang about love, she felt love. And when she sang about beauty, she felt that beauty. While some performers sang words, she sang emotions. Dottie West's hometown of McMinnville, Tennessee, also honored her memory by naming Highway 56 the Dottie West Memorial Highway. And then in 1995, actress Michelle Lee produced and starred in a TV movie about Dottie West. It was called Big Dreams and Broken Hearts, The Dottie West Story. Michelle Lee wore Dottie West's original clothes in the movie Hits. The film in the movie was very successful, and a book about Dottie's life was released that same year. In 1999, country singer Joe D. Messina covered Dottie's hit song, "A Lesson in Leavin'." The song stayed at number 2 on the country charts for 7 weeks. Dottie West was also warmly remembered by her son Kerry West, granddaughter Tess Frizzell, and longtime friend and fellow country singer Jeannie Seely. They all took the stage to accept the honor on behalf of the late Dottie West. "She was the kind of girl you want for a friend," Seely recalled of Dottie West from the stage. "Dottie's path was never easy, but she had the strongest determination." Most of you who know Dottie well know that she loved little candles everywhere, and they all had to be burning all the time, Seely added. "I can't help but think that she's going to have every damn light in heaven burning tonight." Dottie West was honored with the Female Golden Legacy Award in 2000. After her friend Patsy Cline, she was the second woman to win this award. Her hometown of McMinnville holds a Dottie West Music Festival every October. In 2002, Dottie West was ranked number 23 in Country Music Television's 40 Greatest Women of Country Music. Dottie West was considered among several artists to elevate the platform of female country artists. Robert K. Orman even compared Dottie West to that of Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, and Tammy Wynette, saying, "These women were American icons whose songs were about heartache and resilience. They rose from poverty to become glittering heroines." Jason Ankeny of AllMusic wrote, "West's battles for identity and respect within the male-dominated country music hierarchy were instrumental in enabling other female artists to gain control over the directions of their careers." Robert Hilburn of the Los Angeles Times wrote, "In the mid-60s, she was one of the handful of singers, including Loretta Lynn, who helped demonstrate that females could compete on honky-tonk jukeboxes with the men who had previously dominated the field." Dottie West is also remembered for reinventing and continuing her career in her middle age. Julie Thankey of the Tennessean wrote, "West continually reinvented herself during her career, transforming from the gingham-clad girl next door to chart-topping country bombshell." Mary A. Buffwack and Robert K. Orman found that West had a highly successful comeback in her 40s by taking on a glamorous new image and wearing eye-popping costumes. Jason Ankeny found out that Dottie West had more success in middle age due to the changing culture. As the sexual revolution peaked, so did West's career. After the 1973 success of the crossover smash Country Sunshine, written for Coca-Cola, her material became far more provocative, and much to the chagrin of country purists, more commercially successful as well. In 2002, Dottie West was named among CMT's 40 Greatest Women of Country Music, a special which ran on the network during the year. Jeannie Seely and Ron Harmon began an effort to induct West into the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum in the 2010s. Harmon created a Facebook page in 2012 to bring attention to the Dottie West Needs Inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame campaign. More than 15,000 users liked the page. In 2014, Steve Werner wrote an op-ed for Billboard magazine, citing his reasons why Dottie West should be inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. In my humble opinion, Dottie helped build the template for the modern-day country girl singer. She was a true pioneer. It was officially announced in March 2018 that Dottie West would be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Dottie West was finally inducted into the Hall of Fame's official ceremony in October 2018. What do you think about Dottie West's life? Do you think her death wasn't ordinary? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more interesting content. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.